Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Snap Material Podcast. Oh my goodness, we are back. It's December of 2025. We are going to be discussing the previous season, which was Arachnid Anarchy right now. And joining me, of course, is Evan Bevins. Evan, are you ready to talk some Arachnid Anarchy?
I was trying to make a step into my parlor spider fly joke, but it's just not coming out. Let's just talk about a Snap, I guess.
That sounds like a plan. So this season released November 4th, 2025. Our first card here, which I think was the card that you got with buying the season pass, was Spider Punk. 3 cost, 3 power. You can move this once. When this moves to a location, steal 2 power from the highest power enemy there. When we recorded last time, I was able to play against the card. It hurt me pretty good, and each time that I've seen it pop up this season, it's caused me some trouble. So it's led me to believe that this is probably one of the better cards of the season because it does have a lot of... Seems like it always gets the better of me, or at least aggravates me enough. Any thoughts on Spider Punk this season?
Yeah, I saw him a few times. I did not end up getting it either. I'm slowly saving up my Google credits by saying, no, I didn't actually go to any of these places. They only give you 10 cents for that. You actually have to go in somewhere and tell them about it to get more on the survey. But yeah, I saw Spider Punk quite a bit, and I was like, oh yeah, he could do some damage if he moved, but then I was only looking at, oh, you can move it once. Okay, well, that's a nice effect to do once. But like you said, everybody's moving him all over the place. So yeah, Spider-Gwen, whole lot of folks. So yeah, it's not like, oh crap, they've got Spider Punk. But if you're not careful, he can build up there. It's good enough if he's getting, +2. He takes 1 from each of them. So
Steal 2 power from the highest power enemy there. So
okay, yeah, that's good enough, but then he's taking it from yours, so it's a 4-point swing. He can do some damage.
All right, next up, Man Spider, 5 cost, 1 power on reveal. Merge the last card you played into this, and when this merges, double its power. And yeah, when Man Spider gets going, I can't tell you how many times I've seen it hit the board.
In the words of Doctor Strange himself.
He can be a force to be reckoned with. You can see his power getting up there a lot of times when you're facing him. I've seen him double, and just toil and trouble.
Beat me to it.
I really want to get this card. I think you can potentially get it.
Yeah, it's in Season 5.
What I thought. Anyway, good card. One that I probably want the most this season. So your thoughts?
Definitely one of the highlight cards. I saw Man Spider build up quite a bit. My only experience, I think I may have generated him once, but at least one time it was a Kang that had his power, and another time Nightmare gave somebody his power. Both of those times I wasn't paying attention, or I played the wrong one, so cards are merging and doubling, and I'm like, wait, what's happening here? But I did have one where somebody was doing quite a bit of damage with him. I think I told you about this. They had played Agony, Howard the Duck, and then Symbiote Spider-Man. And then with the help of the Feast Center, they got Man Spider out there a little early. So he had a 26... Let's see. I wrote this one down. He had a 26-point Man Spider at the left and a 7-point Taskmaster that I had pulled with a Kang using Gladiator's power, so he didn't get to use Taskmaster where he'd hoped, so he only got 7 points for him.
Gotcha.
The middle location was Spider Island. I played Batroc on Spider Island, and he automatically swung over to the right and filled the location there. So then I put down another Kang who had Spider-Man 2099's power, and he could only swing left, so he swung and took out Man Spider and retreated. I assumed like an Arnim Zola or something was coming next, but I got Batroc to take up all the space on the right, so I lucked out that Kang took him out. I made sure I at least had a shot at him.
That is awesome.
I was like, I'm screwed unless... Okay.
Yeah, there's a way to take him out. All right, very good. Then we got Superior Spider-Man, 3 cost, 4 power. At the start of each turn, you get +1 energy if you have any cards with increased power in play. I think I saw the card maybe once or twice. Wasn't really gravitating towards trying to get this card.
Superior Spider-Man is one of my favorite runs of comics, and I like the...
That's right.
I think we talked about last time. It's the only card I can think of other than Erisham Even Erisham has a little bit of downside in that you have no idea what cards you're actually going to get in the game. So it's the only card I can think of that gives you ongoing +1 energy without any drawbacks, or at least without having to destroy the card to let your deck function. I put him in... I'm sure I tried him in a Surfer deck, because I try every 3-cost card in a Surfer deck. When we talk about the meta, I did use Surfer, but not much with Superior Spider-Man. I just put him in the deck I'd already been having good luck with, which I call Power Brokers, although I'm thinking of changing it to Power Ballad with the title I Will Now Sing for You. So still workshopping that, but so since that deck has a bunch of cards getting boosted power, it's usually pretty easy. His running mate in my book should always be Silver Sable, because you can play her first turn and get a card with increased power. I used him a lot in that deck was already pretty good. That's the one that I haven't reached Infinite, but it's gotten me up into the 90s at least twice. With First Steps, Jocasta, Invisible Woman, Clea, Marvel Boy, Athena, Surge, and Galactus First Steps. So Frito I took out, but I put Superior Spider-Man and Silver Sable in there. It did the trick pretty well.
Nice. All right, next up is Ezekiel Sims, 2 cost, 2 power. After you play a card with higher power here, give this +2 power and move this to another location. So I ended up getting him. I think I was trying... I don't know which I was going for here.
You're probably going for Man Spider.
No, because I think Ezekiel Sims, he would have been in the 5s, right? Like, he would have been in Series 5. So maybe I was trying for Man Spider at that point. I tried him in a few decks. I was somewhat finding a spot for him, but I think he's going to be more of a utility card possibly than one of those ones where I'm like, okay, I want to try and work some magic around what this guy can do. And I wasn't able to really come up with anything concrete there. So he's still kind of trying to find a home. How about you?
Yeah, he wasn't one of my top priorities, but I would have liked to have gotten him. The chances I took this season didn't pan out with the cards I was aiming for. I assume he'd be fun in a move deck. Actually, I could see him in the Nightmare deck too, just because you've got a lot of high power cards. You know, I don't have my notes in front of me. It's when a card with more power is played. Mm-hmm. That's what makes him move, right? Okay, so my Sauron Nightmare decks usually have a lot of high power cards in them, with Sauron or Nightmare there to get rid of their undesirable effects. Mm-hmm. He might be fun to throw in there. But yeah, I did not see him very much, and I didn't get a chance to use him. I think I got him randomly created in my hand once, but didn't do a whole lot. So not a high priority, but one I'd like to get and try for no other reason than to think back to that JMS story when he was first introduced.
All right. Next up is Spider-Man Noir. Cost 6 power on reveal. If your other cards in play cost exactly 8 total, add the top card of your deck here and set its power to 8. So it's a 0 cost, 8 power card that comes out. I did not try to get him, but I ended up with him from stealing him with Cable. And then I was able to somehow lay him out, and the exact cost that I had out there was 8. So it pulled it off. And I think I ended up winning or he retreated, one or the other. I cannot remember. But yeah, again, all that crazy math we came up with there. Did you run into Spider-Man Noir at all?
I ended up with him. I bought a seasonal Series 5 pack, and I was hoping for Man Spider or Ezekiel or maybe even Zombie Galacti, but that's the one I got. He looks cool, and it wasn't like I didn't want him. He was just low on my list. And I made a deck to try to maximize him, and I'm not sure he's worth framing a whole deck around, but what I went with was Squirrel Girl and Mr. Sinister to get some extra cards out there early.
Smart.
Makari also to get 3 more cost out there without actually having to use that energy. Debris also. And then as battle these cards, I'm like, well, what would I actually draw with him? Hopefully I got Omega Sentinel in there, and Iron Man would be ideal. It was a decent enough deck, and I got him to work a couple times, but it seems like a lot of effort for not a lot of payoff, at least the way I've figured it. There may be a better way out there. I've seen him a couple times, but doesn't really set the world on fire. It's fun to try to figure out how to use him. I don't know that I've nailed it down yet.
Yeah, it would take me a while to figure out what I could do to make him useful.
I also put Strange Supreme in there to clean up all those extra cards once I either do or don't successfully get Spider-Man Noir out there.
Well, it'd be nice to get Spider-Man Noir played, and then he pulls Strange Supreme. You already got an 8-power Strange Supreme out there that can start cleaning things up. Yeah. Lots of math. Okay, next up, the Prowler, 3 cost, 4 power. On reveal, add 2 Thieves' Tools to your hand. Set their cost to 0 if a card moved last turn. So, yeah, here's the Thieves' Tools, just to throw these out here. You got Flight Harness, which is 1 cost. On reveal, give your highest power card here plus 1 power and move it to the right. Then you have Remote Mines. On reveal, afflict the 2 highest power enemy cards here with -2 power. And then the Shock Gauntlets, 1 cost, skill card. On reveal, give your highest power card here plus 2 power. You get +1 energy next turn. So, yeah, I didn't really change much of my thoughts here with the Thieves' Tools, but as far as the Prowler goes, this is the card I think I'm going to try to shoot for. Don't think I'm going to be able to pull it off before the season ends. I might, maybe. I'm really close to 6,000 tokens. I don't know if I'm going to get it. But this is the card that I think I want to try for, just because I like the idea of what these tools can do. I think they're pretty powerful. What are your thinks? What are you thinking?
Well, my thanks. Thanks for asking. I've seen him a few times. I would have liked to have gotten him, but I might have had a shot. I decided to go for a seasonal Series 4 card. Didn't work out as well as it did last season. I've seen him a couple times. I think I stole or copied the Flight Harness, and that's definitely useful if you've got somebody who's doubling or boosting their power. I got hit by the Remote Mines once, but I haven't seen him a ton. Of course, he is relatively new, been out for less than a week.
Right.
But so, yeah, I can see him being useful in several decks, like Collectosaur, obviously Silver Surfer, a move deck too. He can fit into a lot of different
archetypes.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
I got you.
Yes. Thanks for assisting me with your things.
Oh, yes, I have my things. My things are going all the time. Okay, all right. Next up, skill card that I think just got dropped into the Series 4 packs. Web Sling, 1 cost, skill card here. On reveal next turn, you can move one of your cards away from here. I can't say that I saw this very much. I want to say I ended up with it somehow at one point, and I do not know how, unless I stole it somehow. That's the only thing I can think of. If I remember right, I think I played it and it actually worked decently. I was able to move one of my cards over and actually win the lane. Any thoughts on Web Sling?
I was trying for Chameleon or Zombie Power Man and, maybe another Series 5 card as a bonus, but that didn't work out this month. So I ended up with it. I used it in a deck with Sam Wilson, Captain America, because sometimes you just can't get that darn shield moving. So I figure, hey, at least once I could toss it over to Steve Rogers, if nothing else. And I think I used it that way once or twice. So, yeah, I mean, it does what you need it to do. Not very exciting, not very flashy, but if you need to move a card, it'll get you there. It gives you maybe not more choice, but you have to do less mental gymnastics than with, say, Ghost Spider or Iron Fist.
Yeah.
It's basically like a one-time Madam Web.
Yeah.
Doesn't overstay her welcome. So, yeah, it does what it needs to do.
Okay. And yeah, speaking of Chameleon, 3 cost, 3 power. On reveal, copy the text of another card you revealed here this turn. As I pointed out in my note that we did not have here written down. Usually everything I do here is copy
it was
and
a
paste.
conspiracy.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I got this from, I don't know if it was the Snap Fan or whatever it is. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I grabbed the text from there. So I'm like, okay, Chameleon, for crying out loud, I've got to do Chameleon here. I've got a great idea of using him in my C3 deck. Cerebro, pull him out there on turn 6, and boom, bada bing. Well, I'm developing my C3 deck, and all of a sudden I lay out Cerebro in one lane and Chameleon on the other, and Chameleon does nothing. And I'm like, what is going on? I pull up the text and it says here. So yes, it has to be at the same location, which I guess makes sense for his powers. It didn't really make me go, oh crap, I got this card and now it's useless. It's more, okay, well, I just got to strategize a bit differently. So I used him in my C3, and I feel like I used him in a different deck as well. I put something together where I was trying to do some ongoings. It was so funny because when it didn't happen, I was getting upset because I thought, wait a second, is it only on reveal cards that he does it for? No, he'll copy the text of any card that you lay out there so long as it's the same location. He fits in a lot of decks if you want like a double of the card, but again, you've got to strategize when you're going to play him, because if you're playing him on turn 4, the only thing you're going to be able to copy is a 1-cost ability. And so kind of leaving them in there in your deck or in your hand until turn 6. It's probably the way you're going to go. But yeah, I mean, I haven't found like a great amount of success with them in my decks yet, but I haven't had a chance to use them a whole lot. I was focusing on some events and trying to get to infinite this go round, and I don't want to jinx myself by putting a new deck together and trying to get there and watch it just completely fall apart. But anyway, for you, Chameleon.
I don't think I realized it was here either, because that makes him even harder to fit in. I mean, when he was first available, the first few times I saw him was, Silver Surfer, then Chameleon, just like in Marvel Team Up number 201. Those crazy guys surfing the space. I actually do have comics where the Rhino takes a ride on the Silver Surfer's board, but not Chameleon. So yeah, I did try to get him. I would still like to try it, but it just feels like there's not a whole lot of wiggle room with him.
Right.
That makes him a little less interesting to me. Then again, he's a Series 4, so not as hard to get, not as big an investment. I'd still like to try it out. I took 2 shots at seasonal Series 4 packs and got the next card as well, but I haven't seen him a whole lot. I can see where he'd be useful, but I can also see where he'll just be sitting in your hand after you draw him. Without much fanfare. Horrible fanfare, that is.
Nice. All right, next up, Deafening Chord, skill card. 1 cost on reveal. Afflict an enemy character here that costs 3 or less with -1 power and remove its text. I did see this once, and I believe it messed me up pretty good. I think that there's... it's got its promise for sure. Removing text is a big deal. And doing that for 1 cost, it's only 3 or less. So it's not going to be a big mover, but I mean, that's going to be like a Sunspot or something along those lines. So, but anyway, any thoughts on Deafening Chord?
Yeah, I was like, there's only 3 cards left in Seasonal Series 4. I want Zombie Power Man. I want Chameleon. I got Deafening Chord. Now, it's absolutely a useful card. I mean, it's 1 cost. There's a little downside, but here's my problem with Deafening Chord, Jesse.
Let me hear it.
What are the other standalone skill cards? You got, the Hunger, which creates a zombie horde. That's a pretty notable event. You got Astral Projection, which you associate with Doctor Strange, but lots of people do Astral Projection. It's a common occurrence in the Marvel Universe. You got Web Sling. It's got Spider-Man on the card, but it's an iconic phrase, an iconic action, and there's lots of others that do it. Then is there another one, or is that basically it? Those 3 primarily. The others are associated with specific characters.
Right.
And then you have dude plays a guitar loud. One of these things is not like the other. Now, I am not going to sit here and tell you that a Deafening Chord can't be delivered at a dramatic moment, say with a keytar as the Shredder is threatening a young woman who was just listening to Vanilla Ice freestyle a song about a mutant ninja battle. I mean, it has its place. I don't know. It just seems to me like a card that Spider-Punk should generate rather than its own thing.
I hear you.
Does that make it any less effective as a card? Not at all. More effective than some characters, but it was just hard for me to get excited about it.
I hear you. Wow.
I'm sure I'll try it in a deck and love it, but I don't know. I was just like, okay.
Well, next up is our Sanctum Sanctorum reward. This is Hydro Man, 5 cost, 8 power. On reveal, set the cost of each deck's top card to 1. So I thought this thing had a lot of promise. I really did. I thought, okay, this is going to be fun.
Seem to be speaking in the past tense.
Yeah, I got Hydro Man, and I was not very impressed because I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's so late in the game. And you have to hope and pray that that next card that you were going to get will be worth only 1 cost. I tried to put together a deck with Howard the Duck so I could see what it was, and a way of trying to get Hydro Man out there early. But again, it's tough. Too many moving parts, as you've said before. There's too much to try and make it worth trying to build something around. So I think really what you got to do just at the end of the day is say, okay, it's a 5 cost, 8 power card, and I get to hopefully get another card next that's not going to cost me hardly anything. And if it's turn 6 coming up next, maybe I've got a 5 cost and this will be a 6 cost that got down to 1 somehow. But a lot of times what I ended up having is 1 cost cards coming back at 1 cost. Yay. Yay. Thanks, Hydro Man.
Oh, at least you didn't jack up the cost.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you imagine you play Hydro Man and you're like, okay, guys, here we go, and you draw Yellow Jacket?
Oh, man. I did have Mobius in there. He was definitely at least present. I worry about what it's like on the other side because I can't see what's happening over there if they actually have a 1 cost, and I haven't seen that happen yet. Not been paying attention enough. But I'm hoping that Mobius cancels out this effect over there so that I'm the only one with the 1 cost card.
Well, I mean, the only way you'd know for sure is if they played a card that definitely wasn't 1 cost, and
I need to pay attention a little bit more. But anyway,
I mean, even if it works, you'll never see it unless they get angry and quit or retreat.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got him. I haven't tried him out yet. I was doing Sanctum Sanctorum, but once I got him, I bowed out of Sanctum Sanctorum.
I need to still spend my medals or whatever I got.
Yeah.
Sigils or whatever they're called. Medallions.
Yeah, I got a cool variant in the border after I got Hydro Man.
The event ended?
No, I think it's still going. Okay. And then they usually give you a day or two after it ends. So, yeah, I haven't used him. I don't think I've seen him yet either. It is kind of neat that it's a play on the Sandman effect. Even in HeroClix, those two are usually made from the same mold and just painted different. So, yeah, I haven't done a lot with him. I agree with you that it doesn't seem like a card that's worth it to build a deck around. Kind of like Spider-Man Noir. I like the effect, and it could be fun, but like with Spider-Man Noir, maybe I shouldn't build a deck around him. It seems like I need to do a lot of things to make sure that works because it's not one that you could very often just stumble into.
Yeah.
Maybe we're overthinking it. I mean, maybe the advantage is you can just squeeze 1 more card in and it doesn't have to be Red Hulk or some big game changer. Sometimes just getting 2 extra points in there is enough to tip the scale. So maybe that's all it is, just getting an extra effect in, and he doesn't need to be a centerpiece card. Maybe he's just a card that, I mean, it can definitely hurt you too. So because you're giving your opponent that same opportunity unless you've got Mobius in there.
Right.
Maybe he's not a card you build around. Maybe he's just a card that complements some other strategy.
Yeah. All right, let's get into locations. We got Mosh Pit, end of turn, give front row cards here, +1 power. This was fun to have Sebastian Shaw, if I could get him out there, eating up that power and gaining more. Aside from that, had a good time when it was on. I didn't feel like it turned the game around or anything like that, but it was a good location. So your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was a fun one. I've seen it a few times since. I did have a deck with Captain Carter when that was featured. So, get her front and center in the mosh pit. And I thought it was a fun one. Not a huge difference maker, but one that you can use to your advantage. And that's about it.
That's about it. Parker Industries, +2 energy this turn, but you can only play 1 card. And I had all sorts of things going on here. Snow Guard to try and activate again, but then what we figured out was that for some reason I feel like you could only do that one. Yeah, I think you pointed this out last time. You can only do that 1 location possibly. And then again, if it knocks you down to just one card that you can play.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that extra energy, but you got low costs in your hand. Unfortunately, you're just kind of out of luck. Maybe this was mentioned last week or last month. I just can't remember it. War Machine would have been great.
Yeah.
If you could have had War Machine out there. And then, of course, War Machine's 5 cost, if I remember right.
4.
4? Okay. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if this ends up on turn 3, which is where you kind of hope it would be, then it would work out well for War Machine, and then you could Legion it and then maybe take care of business.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on with that strategy. I don't remember doing a whole lot that day when it was going on. I think shortly after I was like, well, crap, this only gives me 1 card. So it was more of a meh for me. So what's your thoughts here on Parker Industries?
I remember seeing it once. It must have been featured while I was climbing the Sanctum ladder. I remember seeing it once, but honestly, when I was looking at the dock as we were getting ready, I was like, oh yeah, Parker Industries. What's it do again? Clearly it didn't mess me up, but it could be an interesting wrinkle. It's something that might not make a huge difference, but it's kind of like the Tinkerer's Workshop, where sometimes that +1 really helps, and sometimes it's just like, okay. I guess it depends on the situation. But if it shows up on turn 3 and you got a 5 cost in there, it could get that out early and tip the scales. So it would be a pain to come in later in the game with Scarlet Witch or something like that. But like I said, I think I must have been mostly playing Sanctum because I barely remember seeing it.
I think you're right. I think that was going on when Sanctum was also going on at the same time. So there really wasn't much. If you were wanting to try and get Hydra Man, you were trying to grind that out and get to it as quick as you could. So I don't think there was much motivation to go over and play regular Snap at that time. All right, well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's our discussion on Arachnid Anarchy. Thanks a lot for joining us. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for the next installment of Snap Material.